ready to get started. Thanks everybody for showing up today. One note again, I'll just mention the cell phones as usual. So if you have a chance to go ahead and turn those to silent, that would be good. So this is the April 23rd, 2024 Hardin County Fiscal Court regular voting meeting. Let's begin and call this meeting to order. Start with a roll call.
Squire Clem. Here. Squire Hicks.
Here.
Squire Muse.
Here.
Squire Pennington. Squire Saltzman.
Here.
Squire Thompson.
Here.
Squire Whitehead.
Here.
Squire Yates.
Here.
Judge Tall.
Here. Next, we'll have our invocation by Magistrate Muse and our Pledge of Allegiance by Magistrate Yates.
Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this great country we live in, privileges we enjoy. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to gather today to improve our county. Help us make wise decisions and work together. Please guide our first responders as they perform their duties and watch over our servicemen and women as they protect our country. I humbly ask that you bring peace to our country and throughout the world. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, again, thanks for joining today. I'll just go ahead as usual and do a quick review of the agenda. Pretty simple agenda today. We have the Fiscal Court minutes from last meeting to approve. Then we have a speaker today for an informational item on our agenda. And then we'll have some presentations by various offices. Some written reports won't be presented, but they're included in the packet. A time for any citizens' concerns or comments. We don't have any ordinances or specific resolutions to vote on today, but we do have the consent agenda, which is fairly lengthy, and I'll review that fairly quickly of what's in there. And after that's just comments, and that should pretty much wrap up the meeting for today. All right, so let's go ahead and approve the Hardin County Fiscal Court for April 9th, 2024 minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, who moved that? Sorry. And then second Patsy. Okay. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Squire Clem.
Yes.
Squire Hicks.
Yes.
Squire Muse.
Yes.
Squire Saltzman.
Yes.
Squire Thompson.
Yes.
Squire Whitehead.
Yes.
Squire Yates.
Yes.
Judge Tall.
Yes, motion passes. Okay, next on our agenda we have informational items, and I believe we have Hailey Hoover, Volunteers of America Family Recovery Court presentation.
And Judge, I think we have a little glitch.
Oh, okay.
So I had asked her to be here today because of the opioid money, and part of the consent agenda was a memorandum of agreement. She may have been delayed. She's not here. Judge Dawn Blair is here to kind of be a part of that, but not to present. And you haven't heard from her, have you? Okay, she's almost here. So if we could move that, I guess, further down after the other department reports, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on then to some other presentations. We'll start with our coroner, Pat Elmore.
Afternoon, Judge, members of the court, members of the audience. We'll go over our first quarter activity for the coroner's office. Starting in January, the coroner's office responded to 101 cases. 6 accidents, 2 falls, motor vehicle collision, and I feel like a broken record. We'll go into the overdoses. Once again, it was the fentanyls. We had 3 of those and 93 naturals. 1 suicide and 1 undetermined. It was a condition. It kind of gives a brief description of that. It was a condition that is a fairly odd thing, angioedema. It took some extended studies to figure out what happened on that one. So we've now since closed that one out. For February, we had 111 cases, 7 accidents, anaphylaxis, motor vehicle collision, followed resulted in a death, and then we back into the overdoses. One item of information I would like to bring up is the very bottom overdose here. You'll see it was betonidazine. We had an individual that didn't test positive initially on his toxicology. We felt like it's after doing extended studies, and just kind of give you a brief overview. It's something that was the first case we've seen in our office, but it was a drug that was basically started in 1957 and never seen any type of production, but it showed up. And of course, you can see it's 1,000 times more potent than morphine. So it kind of masks some of the same things as fentanyls and heroin. And then, of course, with suicide, we had 1 and an undetermined that resulted as an overdose of meth. For March cases, 89 cases worked. Again, the overdoses just kind of play right down through there. Another drug, bromazolam, showed up in this one. So there's 2 different drugs that we've now encountered in the last couple of months that we're kind of keeping track of. This one was started in 1976, and like I said, again, never seen marketing. We had 2 homicides, 82 naturals, and we had 1 toxicology pending. This kind of brings us 4-year total. For autopsies, we're down to this time of the year 3. Cremations, we had 133. County cremations, we had 1. Number that we're kind of proud of there. We didn't have to have EMS transport in. We were able to transport our bodies ourselves. And then we had 34 transports out of our office. This kind of shows a snapshot of, and again, it follows the busier areas. Elizabethtown, 42%, then followed by Radcliffe, and then right down the line with the more populated, less populated areas. Of course, unincorporated is 11% of that. Out of the county, that was some of the ones that come into the hospital and some of the interstate incidents that we worked. So that reflected 21% there. Any questions? Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just going to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
There was a fatality recently, and if I can paraphrase, BK Gail, who was happened to be at that scene, and she was just commenting on how professional you and your team and the folks, EMS folks, were there, and just the way they handled the whole situation. It was just, in her words, just impressive, if I can paraphrase that. So I just wanted you to hear that. I don't know if you do very much, but in this case.
Well, we appreciate that comment. And BK, to speak to it, she was there with the family. She was the one that actually was able to assist the family of the young man that was driving the vehicle. He wasn't the fatality. But BK, again, thank you for the comment, but also thank you for the assistance, because he kind of brought calm into the storm there. It was a fairly substantial scene, and we're still fielding calls on that because, again, it's some of those situations where family is out of state. So thank you for your help as well. I appreciate the comment. And I'll relay it to the rest of the staff.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next is Sheriff John Ward.
Good afternoon, Judge, Magistrates, County Attorney, County Clerk. We'll get started here. Ms. Bennett is working with the auditors, and they're trying to finish up today. She's going to try to be up here in time to do her report. First of all, on the law enforcement side of the Sheriff's Office, February and March, 199 arrests, 251 citations issued, 93 warrants served, 595 civil processes, 1,239 complaint calls, 82 accidents investigated, 75 criminal cases opened, 2,033 others, 912 school safety checks, 209 warning violations, 1,418 attempts to serve. Office operations, 72 records checks, 125 concealed deadly weapon permits, 1,466 vehicle inspections. Court transportation, 56 adults, 11 juveniles transported, and 67 in-state transports. And then for February and March, we had some new hires, Stephen Ray, Christopher Wilk, and James Sherrard. All three of these deputies are veteran police officers, so they won't have to go to they've already been to the academy, so that saves us there, and they're working the road here in Hardin County now. Also, the Sheriff's Office received a charitable donation from the American Legion Post 113 for a canine unit. So that's them here presenting a check for us. It's going to be used for a canine. We had some special visitors from JTA come take a tour of the Sheriff's Office and E911 during that period of time. And just a brief overview of some of the major occurrences that we had February and March. We had stabbing out on 86, non-fatal stabbing, suspect in custody. We had an active shooter alert, which had everybody in town run into the courthouse. AOC's computers got hacked at several different courthouses around the state. So this happened, I forget the total number, but it was several courthouses, but the courthouse was searched and cleared. Had several bomb threats at Blue Oval, SK. I think 5 to be exact, and we've worked with Blue Oval, the people we've worked with those in charge on scene there, and give them some advice on how to handle security a little differently, and they're not paying their workers. If there's a bomb threat and they send the workers home, they don't continue to get paid. And for some strange reason, the bomb threats have slowed down. So go figure. Also, we had a murder just off 31W in between E-Town and Radcliffe. It was about 12 hours. We had the suspect in custody. Had to go to Shelbyville to arrest the person that committed the murder, but that's in the court system, and that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions?
All right, well, thank you.
Thank
Sheriff.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
Sheriff. Next, clerk, our county clerk, Brian Smith.
You all. This is that time of year when I start talking about elections and don't stop talking until everybody votes. So we're getting ready for gearing up for the primary election. For those who qualify for an absentee mail-in voting, that portal is open, and we've already been mailing out. We've probably done 250 absentee ballots and about 50 in returned. That portal is available through May 7th. You can go to govote.ky.gov. You can feel free to stop by our office or call our elections team. When you call our office, we'll walk you through govote.ky.gov so you can order and request that absentee ballot. In-person excused voting, this has been part of the law for a long time. Not a lot of folks know about it or remember it, but there are 6 days in which a person who qualifies for a same qualification for absentee voting can come by the clerk's office from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Those dates are May 8, 9, and 10, and 13th, 14th, and 15th. Some of those qualifications, if you'll be out of town or scheduled to work all dates and times of in-person voting, the law uses the phrase age, illness, and disability. Sometimes those words ring a little harsh on our ears. There is no definitive age, illness, or disability. We don't ask. You just attest to it. When you come in, you sign, and you vote. If you do this in person, it's just like Election Day, only without all the lines. So if you or someone you love can't physically handle in-person voting anymore, that's okay. They can come by our office. They can sit down, and we can get their attestment, and let them vote. Issue a ballot works the exact same way. They'll feel like Election Day. I think that's what a lot of people are worried about. We always warn women who are in their third trimester, babies are going to come when babies come. Don't pay attention to what that scheduled date is, because I have 4 children and none of them were born on their scheduled date. So we encourage those folks to vote absentee. Also, if you or your spouse have scheduled surgery. Next slide. Early voting. This is something that's still been it's fairly newish to our law, but I think we're all getting used to it. Last November, nearly 29% of our Hardin County voters used early voting. And I think that's fabulous. I think it's a testament that people like it. They want it. They can't stop asking them about it when they're in line. They want us to keep it. Well, we're going to keep it because the law lets us keep it. Those dates and times are May 16, 17, 18, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the clerk's office and at Colvin Community Center, so we can capture both northern and mid to southern Hardin County early voting. And next slide. Primary election day. This is our day that we work towards. We've been working towards this day since we wrapped up last November's election. Tuesday, May 21st is the primary election day. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you're in line at 6 p.m., you get to vote no matter how long that line is. In addition to the 12 locations we've had in the past, we've added 3 additional locations to fill in some gaps. There were some parts of our county that had long drives to the polling locations. We've added Heartland Elementary School. Mostly Heartland Elementary will help us with the long lines that we're seeing here at the clerk's office. Cecilia Valley Elementary School and Glendale Christian Church. And those 3 are added to the list. When you're looking at the list, the sites with asterisks on it, these are our mega sites, our large sites, our biggest sites with the most check-in locations to allow folks to come in and vote and get on there with their business. I will tell you, it's disheartening when we see people show up and they see a line and they turn around and leave. These lines move pretty quickly. All of our poll workers have gone through their training. We did three separate training for them, and they are ready to serve you on Election Day. I will make a note on, and special appreciation to the folks at Glendale Christian Church. The law allows us to use any building that was built with taxpayer dollars. There is a school there in Glendale, but it is being used by Blue Oval SK. Our concern with using that on Election Day was parking. Even though we can still use that same facility, we were afraid that voters would not be able to park there, so the church is helping us out with that. Next slide. I'm going to remind you all of our Hardin County property check. I want to keep re-upping this because I got a text from a real estate agent who found that Jefferson County offers that. She texted me right away and she said, Hardin County needs to offer that. And I was proud to say, we do. Here's the link. Share it with your folks. So we're at that number, 380, has gone up since I created this slide. So we're nearly 400. That's over 400 individuals because most spouses are creating a joint account. My account has my name, my wife's name, and all of our children's name in it. So what this does is if any document is recorded in our office, you'll get an email and text alert. I think a lot of folks are really concerned about identity theft, and there are growing in other parts of the country property crimes related to fraudulent filings. It's not a huge problem, but we want to get ahead of it and not be behind it. So we encourage people to sign up for Property Check. It's available at no cost to you as a taxpayer. Next slide. I'm going to wrap up. I got a lot of superstars on the first floor, but we want to recognize Rosella Nunn, who is retiring this week from our office. She has served 21 years in the county clerk's office. Thursday is going to be her last day. So if you're in the building, please stop by, say hello to her, thank her for her service. She's been a joy. We're losing a mountain of knowledge with that. You cannot replace 21 years of service, but we've actually already hired somebody who's coming in with county clerk experience, and so she'll be starting early May with us. Also downstairs working for us is our co-op student, a student, Michaela Mosher. She was recently honored with the Hardin County Schools Better Together Student Award. It's a pretty high achievement, and it's no surprise to those of us who work with her or to her family. She does a great job for us. And last slide is just kind of reach out to the county clerk's office if you have any concerns or questions. Our call volume remains higher than normal. I want to share with the public a couple of things. If your birthday's in April and May and you're wondering why you didn't get your renewal notice, because the Department of Revenue hasn't mailed them out. Those cards, the little cards we're used to getting, that gentle nudge to come into the clerk's office and pay their taxes on time, we kept getting conflicting information on when those were mailed, but those are late, and you don't need the reminder notice. If you come in, please bring last year's registration and your insurance, and we can get all the information to you. So I apologize on behalf of the Department of Revenue, even though it's not my fault. I'm sorry that happened to you all. Surprisingly, June's have been mailed out. Some people have been coming up and registering for June, which is great. I think June will be a slower month from all those people coming in getting it done in April. But that's the explanation behind that. Pending any other questions, that's all I have for the court.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the update. Okay, yeah, so we can, you want to go ahead and introduce?
Sure, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Sure.
Thank you, Judge. So we will have Hailey Hoover come on up, and just by way of introduction, Hailey is from Volunteers of America, and I can vouch for the traffic in E-Town today because I was almost late myself. I think some of the traffic lights being out didn't help. But just to give you all a little background, Hailey's here from Volunteers of America to talk about Family Recovery Court. This is as a result, in part, from the opioid litigation that started in 2019 that Hardin County is a part of. In 2022, we received what we call Phase 1 proceeds settlement from that. I've talked about it before, but there are some limits on what we can use that money for. We can't supplant, we can't replace something we were already doing and already paying for, but the purpose is to have new kind of groundbreaking projects, and this is one of them. That Phase 1 money was, I'm very grateful that it was appropriated to my office to make some decisions on how to use that money. I've talked to you about the treatment coordinator that we hired, the expanded probation monitoring for misdemeanors, and then this is the third piece that we've had a small part of. And you'll see the memorandum of agreement that I'm just asking for you all to affirm with Volunteers of America that allows that $60,000 for the next 5 years to be used toward Family Recovery Court. And Judge Dawn Blair is also here, and she'll be one of the Family Recovery Court judges. We're extremely fortunate to have Judge Blair here and also to have her here in Hardin County. She is probably the preeminent, I would say, family law expert. She's represented families, children, been a prosecutor in family court, and now is on the bench. And she really is the leader who's made this happen. So thank you for being here. And Hailey, thank you for being here, and I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome, thank you. I apologize for being late. Like she said, the traffic was a little hectic driving in from Louisville last minute. But like she said, I'm Hailey Hoover. I am the Director of Addiction Services in our Louisville area, and then beyond that now over Western Kentucky as well. And so we're really fortunate and grateful to be bringing on Family Recovery Court to Hardin County. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes in preparation to get ready for starting up the Family Recovery Court process here. So I'm just here to tell you a little bit about what it's going to consist of and what we hope to be able to serve the families of Hardin County with here. So the whole purpose of Family Recovery Court is really meant to be a collaborative approach between Volunteers of America, who will be supplying the Family Recovery Court staff. And what I mean by that is we'll be supplying a clinical coordinator, another clinical therapist, and 2 targeted case managers, as well as a peer support specialist in the future. And so our staff will have certain roles throughout this process, and then in collaboration with working with the Department for Community-Based Services, with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, with their workers, their supervisors, and then also Judge Blair and Judge Hall and their teams of individuals that they work with day in and day out. So it's really a collaborative approach, really meant to help focus with the families, support them, and guide them through their process. So I'll go to the next slide. So the description of it is it's a trauma-informed collaborative approach treating substance use disorder, specifically with individuals who are court involved. So they have a child abuse neglect petition, and or Judge Blair or Judge Hall have asked the cabinet to open a case involving substance use disorder. So when that case becomes open and it gets to the section in the court that we need to have it in, families can then opt to enroll in. So it is an optional service for them to enroll in. It's not required or asked of them. We, help guide them through that process. And so if they choose to get involved into the court, what we ask them to do is we ask them to shadow a court, come in and see what it's like, see what the process is, review over everything with our targeted case managers and our clinical staff that we have through VOA, meet with their DCBS worker, and then what happens is that DCBS will have a specialized individual and a supervisor that will be dedicated just to the family recovery court cases, which is really unique. It will help that worker to help move the case along more faster in the DCBS process. So really the hope of FRC, as we call it, is to help reunite families faster, get the cases through court quicker, and help really sustain long-term sobriety for our parents who are struggling with substance use disorder that have children. So as we move through this process, it also has a slight part of an evaluation that the University of Louisville does. So they're doing assessments and questionnaires and evaluating and fidelity monitoring, because this is a project in a thing that started in Jefferson County. So it is on the way of becoming an evidence-based practice. And so Jefferson County kind of holds the manual, and they kind of make everything, and then we are replicating that in different counties. So Volunteers of America has put this into Pulaski County, Lincoln County, Clay County, Laurel County, and our next county that we're hoping to pilot this in is Davis County out in Owensboro. So we can go to the next slide. So there's 3 phases as a part of what the clients that we serve will be asked to do if they're involved in FRC. So phase 1 is really all about establishing and maintaining sobriety. So our goal during this phase is to make sure that we're getting them into treatment. One of the reasons why Volunteers of America is such a great place for us to be able to implement this into various counties is because we do have addiction services in Louisville. So we have our Liberty Place program that we have, and that is our men's addiction services. And so there we offer substance use treatment that's residential for men. We also have our Freedom House location as well. So if you're not familiar with Freedom House, it's a very unique program in the city of Louisville. We also have another location in Clay County, Kentucky, and we're groundbreaking right now in Owensboro to build a site there as well. But Freedom House is unique because it is for moms who are experiencing substance use disorder, but they can also bring their children with them to treatment. So it helps keep the family unit together. So if mom has 4 children, mom can bring all 4 children with her to treatment. If mom is pregnant or getting ready to give birth, we help mom give birth safely. We help her bring the child home safely. As long as DCBS finds it to be appropriate and that there's not any safety concerns, we want the family unit to stay together. That's our goal, that's our hope, is to serve the family unit, give them substance use treatment, and not have to break apart that family unit if at all possible. And so that'll be one of the things that we'll be able to accomplish in phase 1 is if they're ready to go to treatment and willing to, we can help enroll them into one of our treatment programs in Louisville and transport them there, get them into services where they have clinical group therapy, individual therapy, and lots of other programming that we do there. Or we can get them enrolled into another treatment provider that might be closer to here. And we're currently in the process of finding good replicable places that we could send clients to that we're serving throughout this process. And so the goal of phase 1 is really to, they're really just getting started in their sobriety journey, really starting to come into terms with their substance use disorder and wanting to get them enrolled in treatment. Then we move to phase 2, which is all about getting them incorporated into parenting. So they're doing a parenting group during that time frame. They're still meeting with their individual therapist that VOA is providing. They have a targeted case manager that VOA provides also to help them maintain and establish a job or GED services, making sure that they have an ID, a social security card, getting all of these things organized for themselves is all a part of phase 2. And then in phase 3, we're doing Project Life to increase independent living skills and really helping to engage them and incorporate them back into full parenting and full taking on all of their tasks that they need to do as a parent to ensure that they're meeting the needs of their children. So the program process of FRC is that when an individual opts to enroll in Family Recovery Court, they would then see an FRC judge weekly. So Judge Blair and Judge Hall will switch out dockets. So Judge Hall's individuals will see Judge Blair on the FRC docket and vice versa. And so we're in court every week during phase 1 with these individuals as a way to support, talk about barriers to them being successful in their sobriety and working through all of those. So we have the weekly court process, and then we also have weekly case staffings with the judges. So VOA and DCBS is informing the judges of what is going on with the individuals, making sure that we're addressing things timely and efficiently with whatever is happening. And then we're doing weekly case consults between VOA and CPS, Child Protection Services. We're making sure that the clients are completing their phase works. When they enroll with us, they have a parenting binder. Lots of things that we're having them work on, different phases and different assignments that they're doing to help keep them on the right track. So we're making sure that we do that in a way to kind of make that as enjoyable as possible, because these are hard tasks that we're asking them to complete. We're asking them to dig into the depths of their trauma that has really helped form this substance use disorder. We offer them sober bucks that they can cash in for various gift cards and things like that, just to help their parenting journey, so they can earn those sober bucks. We celebrate successes, and we also help to guide them through things that have happened. So I was recently in Jefferson County in the family court process with Judge Brown, who's out there. That's one of the Family Recovery Court judges. And we had a mom who came in, and she was just devastated in the courtroom, and she couldn't talk. And what had ended up happening was she had returned to use the week before, and she was nervous that if she shared that in front of everyone, that her visits would be stripped from her. She would not see her kids for months at a time. She didn't know what was going to happen. And the way that Judge Brown handled that, the way that the FRC staff handled that, everyone really helped support her to get an understanding of what led up to that, what we're going to change and do differently this time. And the fact that she was willing to enter into treatment led to her being able to get enrolled that day into a place, instead of sitting in this fear and in this guilt and shame and not being able to do anything about it with this fear wrapped around her. She was able to enter into treatment with the support of the judge. So it really is meant to be a process that helps guide these parents through their DCBS case as well as their court case, really meant to be supportive and collaborative. So we can go to the next one. So just a little bit about the structure and how everything works. We have an executive board with an advisory board, and then our court teams are the FRC judges, the child welfare leadership, the FRC clinical supervisor, which comes from Volunteers of America, and the evaluation teams, which comes from the University of Louisville. And then from there, you'll see the other pieces of the puzzle that go along with this to make sure that this runs as smoothly as possible. And we'll go to the next slide. So eligibility criteria, so in order for them to qualify, they do have to have an open DCBS case and an open DNA petition in family court. Substance use must be the primary issue contributing to the maltreatment that we're looking at on that court case. They have to reside in Hardin County, that's a big piece. They have to be willing to participate, so we will have our TCMs present at family court every week, reviewing over petitions, making sure that we are trying to engage as many families as possible, but again, it has to be participant willing. So we will reach out to them, we will sit down with them and offer them Family Recovery Court, give them the opportunity, but they have to be willing in order to want to do it. Some exclusionary criteria that we have is that if they've already been active with CPS for 6 or more months, if they have any severe chronic mental illnesses, we might not be able to serve them. If they have an eligibility for a waiver of reasonable efforts, meaning that they've had prior terminations in the past or the reasonable efforts have been waived already, then they would not qualify for Family Recovery Court. And then if they've had any termination of parental rights, if they have any currently pending on other children, that would make them an exclusionary criteria as well. We'll go to the next one. So kind of like I've already talked about, really the way that the individuals can get enrolled into Family Recovery Court is that the attorneys family court attorneys or the guardian ad litems can ask the clients if they're interested. We will have staff present at family court each week, offering the opportunity to sit down and talk with them about. We've also been really trying to go around to some community partners to let them know who we are and what we're about, so that way if they come across anyone that has an active DCBS case and is active in family court and they want to talk about enrolling in on this, that they know the information about what Family Recovery Court is and how to get in touch with us. And so we've been trying to do some of that as well, just to get the community engaged as well. And then exit process is the next slide. And so this is all about, we know that not every single participant that we enroll into FRC is going to be successful. And so we do have a process of how that works. And so we offer them learning experiences, is what we refer to them as. And it's designed to help change the behaviors that we've been seeing, offering them support and collaborating with the individual on what the barriers are for success and how we can address those. If those learning experiences aren't working, we're going to do a 2-week contract, which is really designed to re-engage them in the program. So maybe Judge Blair and Judge Hall might be asking them to represent back to court weekly instead of bi-weekly. We might be asking them to stop by our office 2 times a week and make that commitment to us, or 3 times a week, depending on what is going on with the individual. And then if at that point in time things still aren't working, we're going to offer a 45-day letter, which is designed to reestablish the compliance. And if at that point in time we're not able to reestablish, then we will exit them from our program. So we'll go to the next one. So this slide just kind of shows you some uniqueness of FRC. If you are familiar with DCBS and their processes, you know that oftentimes they can have a lot of things going on at once. And so this is really meant to help offer additional support to the parents who have become active with DCBS and family court. And so you'll see that, like typical intervention, they have a case plan, they're getting referrals to the communities, kind of goes halfway down the list, but then you see towards the middle, you see all of the things that we also do in regards to working with these individuals that are active with DCBS, that sometimes DCBS does not have the capacity to be able to provide, that we will provide firsthand to the clients in partnership with DCBS, so informing them and keeping them informed of everything that we're doing and the successes and the barriers that the clients are having to completing these tasks. And then we'll go to the next slide. So this is just a little bit about the required trainings that our staffs are required to have each year. So we are doing trainings constantly and consistently. So not only will our FRC staff have these trainings, but the DCBS staff that we're working with will also have these trainings. Judge Blair and Judge Hall will also have these trainings. So we will all be doing this together in the easiest way possible to make sure that we're always all on the same page. And then we can skip the next one and go to successes to date. So, so far, the Family Recovery Court model has seen an improvement in mental health. We've seen improvement in parenting and child relationships because of our parenting class. One of the things that the parents do when they're in the parenting classes is that they're asked to write a letter of accountability on how things happened and why they happened. And then we also ask that the child be in therapy as well. And so then we try to do a collaborative family therapy session where the parents can share with the children what happened, if appropriate, and have time to process that with both clinical therapists present, so that they have time to really work on their parent-child relationship, especially for some of our older children who are involved in a lot of these cases. We want to make sure that we're really making improvement on the parent-child relationship. We have improvement on child welfare outcomes, limiting out-of-home care, which is a big piece. So out-of-home care meaning foster care by way of a foster parent or fictive kin or anything like that. Decreased substance use is a big piece of it, like what Ms. Oldham shared earlier about the opioid funding. That is, one of the things that we've been seeing is a heightened amount of opiate use, and so decreasing the substance use is a big piece of what the whole goal of this program is. Stable housing and income, and then career opportunities that we have. And then we have the roles of FRC, and I can let you all kind of read through those at another time. I won't read through them, but you can kind of see what different roles are for each individual that is involved with FRC and the specifics behind that. And then we'll go to the lasting impact statement, which is the very last one. And this individual was someone out of Jefferson County FRC, and they gave a quote to the evaluation team with the University of Louisville that said, "I've dealt with a lot of guilt with my child, and so a lot of times I would withdraw and not be as present in her life because I let the guilt and shame of my substance use consume me. So I was just making it, and it was just perpetrating the problem and making it worse. But since being in family recovery court, specifically in parenting through recovery group, I healed some of that to move forward and worked to do better. I did the work positively to impact my relationship with my children." So that's a little testament of what FRC is doing. Do you guys have any questions about anything?
I have one question,
Yeah.
or two actually. How long has FRC been in existence?
It's been in existence for about 4 years. They piloted it in about 5 years ago and really got up and running probably about 4 years ago in Jefferson County is where it started.
Okay. As far as the board structure, is that a local concept or a regional concept?
The advisory council will be more local. So we want to get some local individuals on the advisory council board. And so part of their role will be to look at a lot of the research that the University of Louisville is doing and the evaluations that are happening so that the community members can know the impact that we're having on the community, and also give feedback from those evaluations on other things that maybe can be done differently, or some of the barriers that maybe they're seeing that we're not seeing.
I have a question, but I'm not sure that you are the one to ask it to. Is this, Jenny, is this a lot like the drug court that we do, but for families?
It is.
Okay.
And kind of piggybacking on Fred's question too. So Volunteers of America's program has been in existence about 4 years, but there have been other family court, drug court type programs for longer than that. But yes, so drug court is, you begin because you've committed a crime, and that's an alternate disposition. These are cases where children have been neglected or abused because of substance use, or we find out that's the big driving factor. And so many times that child is either at risk of being removed from the home or they've already been removed. And so instead of a crime, although there might be criminal cases pending in other courts, this is the case where we really want to get the parents sober so that they can parent and we can get those kids back in their home, or they can safely remain in their home while their parents work on their sobriety. Did that answer what you asked?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. So the only other thing that stuck out to me is, Judge, it sounds like you guys are going to have a heavy caseload because you had mentioned that they may want to see the participant weekly instead of bi-weekly. It sounds like it's going to add to your caseload. Does that sound right? No? Maybe?
I don't know that necessarily it becomes another part of our day.
Yeah.
We're having to set aside a specific day and time to have the meetings. But both Judge Hall and I are both very good at it, so we're welcome to set that aside because we positive impact on it. So lessen the repeat offenders, the people that we see on a multiple basis, increase the right.
And with that, I wanted to commend you guys for carving out some time to be able to do that and to work with this program. Thank you guys for doing that.
The one component that I see that has the best impact perhaps is the counseling with both parent and child.
Yes, absolutely.
Because what often happens is there's a disconnect and you have to repeat with the child.
Yes.
So I'm encouraged by possibilities that are there.
Absolutely, and we want to make the transition if the children have been removed or in out of home care. We want to make that transition back with the parents as smooth as possible, and I think that that's something that this program will help to do, because by offering, visits slow and steady, and then moving to other types of visits and things like that, while also having that therapy component, will be really great for a lot of the children to really start to get back acclimated into the parenting of the parents.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions?
So right now it's Jefferson County. What other counties are you active in right now?
Yeah, so 7 counties has the Jefferson County area, so they service that, but 7 counties can only do the 7 counties. So they look to someone else to start implementing this in other counties throughout the states, and that's when Volunteers of America stepped in and wanted to be willing to do that because we have so many addiction services already. So it seemed like the perfect opportunity for us. So right now, Volunteers of America has it in Lincoln County, Pulaski County, Clay County, Laurel County. I feel like there's one more county, but it's out in southeastern Kentucky area. That's where we've predominantly been, and now we'll be piloting this in Hardin County, and then moving it to Davis County is the next one.
It sounds really exciting and
Absolutely.
it sounds like it's going to make a big difference here in Hardin County. I'm
I believe it
excited
will. I
about
hope it will.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Any other
Great
questions?
presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you
for
all.
being here.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all.
And Judge Blair, did you want to say anything?
I just wanted to personally say thank you for your support and your all commitment of what you're willing to do so far from the opioid funds. I can think of no better way than to take this money and the purpose behind this money and invest it back in our community because it's going to help the most vulnerable in our community, which is our children and ultimately our families. I've been doing this long enough now that I've seen when I say repeat offenders, I hate to use the word offenders, but it's generational. And where I'm seeing some children or grandchildren of the folks that I saw when I first started. So I'm just super excited with hopefully ending that cycle. And I think that this money is a great way to start. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you both. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You. Sheriff, did you have any more of a presentation that you wanted to continue, or are we? Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. All right, then we'll move on to any citizens' concerns or comments. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on then to the consent agenda. Let me just kind of move down through there. You can see a lot of items on here, more than usual. And the first 3 items are all financial, having to do with the financial report and March payroll and claims, and are the first 3 items. The next 3, D, E, and F, which are resolutions 74, 75, 76, and then 78, are all having to do with personnel changes. One, I did want to make a quick note. Those of you that may know Mo, Gerald Moses, known as Mo around here, and he's retiring. So that's one of the changes that's about to happen. He's our senior maintenance technician and has been for a long time and has done a fantastic job. And I just wanted to publicly say that we are going to miss him very much, not just because he's one of our maintenance technicians, because he's just a gentleman and loved really by everybody that knows him. So anyway, if you get a chance at some point, I believe his last day is April 30th. So we'll get a chance to talk with him and express thankfulness for what he's done, and send him on his way to retirement. And I doubt that he'll be sitting around very much. But anyway, just wanted to mention that. Also, we have Resolution 77. This is related to Threat Zero Assurance, some guard licenses. This is about $10,000 annually. This is a renewal of a contract that is our main cybersecurity software. Resolution 79 is related to a service agreement with Motorola Solutions for a state contract. This is also a renewal, and this is all of our radio system, dispatchers, EMS, fire, law enforcement, all of the radios that we use for that. The next 8 are resolutions 80, 81 through 87, And these are a memorandum of agreements between our Hardin County Animal Control and other organizations, municipalities, actually with Meade County, Bullitt County, LaRue County, and other organizations. And these are all basically renewals, and I think one of them might be a name change. The next one is Resolution 88. This is a 2024 State Homeland Security Grant application. And this is primarily to upgrade our cybersecurity, and this will address cyber attacks that would hit mobile devices. Resolution 89 is related to the Volunteers of America, Phase 1 opioid settlement funds to support Family Recovery Court that we just heard the nice presentation. Resolution 90 is another, is our financial transfers. And then item U, which is Resolution 91. This is related to Vertiv Corporation to provide standard maintenance for the Hardin County 911 site. This is a replacement of battery backup for our prime radio site, and this is a renewal for that. And then the last four items are all committee meeting minutes. All right, so that's it. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, who was it over here? E.G., okay? And second was? Oh, Chris, okay. All right, so let's, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and have a roll call then.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Squire Yates?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. All right, that brings us to our time of any additional comments. Does our county attorney have any?
I don't, thank you.
Thanks. How about our county clerk? Okay. We'll move through the magistrates then. Magistrate Yates.
I would just like to thank our clerk, Brian Smith, for getting my daughter registered to vote yesterday. Out of all my years of voting, I did not realize that at 17 years old, if you turn 18 prior to the general election, that you can vote in the primary. So he was able to get my daughter registered to vote, and she'll be voting this May. So that's kind of exciting for us. So thank you.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure.
All right, thank you very much. Magistrate Saltzman.
I have nothing, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Magistrate Whitehead.
I just want to remember the public that the next Resources and Community Support Committee meeting is Monday, May 20th. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Magistrate Clem.
Okay, Judge, I just wanted to remind the folks that the Finance Committee meeting will be the 21st at 3:30. Our next town hall meeting will be next Tuesday here at 5:30 in the courtroom. Also, I would like to wish Mo well. He is really going to be missed. He's a great guy, very talented, very talented.
Yes.
And remind folks, please don't drink and drive and don't text and drive.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Thompson.
No comments today, thank you.
All right. Magistrate Hicks.
Just remind everybody we're having a 26-mile yard sale on Highway 86 this weekend on the Saturday from Highway 62 to Highway US 60. So come out, meet a lot of people, and just be a fun day. Hopefully the weather is good. So that's Saturday from Highway 62 to US 60, 26 miles yard sale.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Muse.
Just like to invite people Thursday, City of Vine Grove's having a legislative breakfast. I believe it starts at 8 to 10. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Again, just a reminder, the next fiscal court meeting will be Tuesday, May 14th, 2024 at 3:30 p.m. All right, I think that covers everything. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. We have
Second.
Okay, we have, who made the motion? All right, we have Chris.
I always get the
and-
motion to adjourn.
Yeah, you're usually first in line there, right? And then Manager Muse had the second. All right, any objections? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.